Hey guys, Josh from Sportitude here, and it's shoe review time, and the shoe we're going to be talking about today is the Brooks Transcend version 6. So pretty exciting shoe, a couple of cool updates about bits which I'm really excited to talk to you about today. And so without further ado, let's get stuck in. First things first, all my shoe reviews I like to identify and profile this shoe and talk about what runner should be considering this model through here. So Brooks obviously are quite an advanced brand when it comes to running and the technology they're using in their running shoes. So the Transcend is designed for that mildly overproned foot type. So gone in years in the past when they had a model called the Brooks Trance in their range. That shoe was quite a supportive shoe, had a reasonably large block of dual density foam which sat on the medial side, and it was obviously a thought pattern that they had a number of years ago to remove that from their stability shoes and go with guide rails. So they're quite engineered forward in regards to their thought pattern, and that was going back nearly 6 years ago as well. So again, Brooks certainly, my opinion, sort of thinking quite a way ahead of the rest of the market. Not saying other brands don't, but these guys do a great job at it. So when we're talking pronated foot types, we're talking about a foot that is ever so slightly collapsed in that arch region. So whether you're a heel striker, contact zone there, coming through to mid stance, we tend to see a little bit of medial rotation as you transition through to toe off. And on the medial side through here, you can see that arch is slightly collapsed through here. When we go from contact to braking phase, the arch splays out. So obviously, Brooks have identified that dual density foam that they've used in previous models, like the old Trance, wasn't working, and they went with guide rails. Now, I'm not teaching anyone at Brooks anything new because they've been doing it for 6 years. But what the guide rail essentially does is, you can see as it sits on top layer through here and goes around that lateral side, essentially it just holds a foot in and only works when it needs to. So the support isn't contradicted by how much medial posting you have on the medial side. So if you pronate a little bit or a little bit more, the guide rail will kick in conjunction with how much you're actually requiring that support. So I'm not going to dive in too much about that. I like to start my reviews from the ground and work my way up. So what we've got here in terms of an outsole configuration, and do mind the fact it's a bit dirty, I have done a few runs in this shoe. So we've got a very similar look to the Brooks Glycerin underneath. Now the only differences, or major differences through here, is it's a little bit wider at the heel base. It does have sort of full ground contact underneath the shoe itself as well. And as you come through to the flex throughs to the forefoot, you can see through here right under what we classify as that first metatarsal joint, or that first big toe, you can see the outsole is encapsulated. So what that does is it provides a little bit more rigidity on toe off. Now the Glycerin has an extra 2 flex screws and it goes the whole way through. So therefore it provides a little bit more flexibility through that toe off phase. So obviously when we're not relying on dual density foam, we're relying on guard rails, but we can also get a little bit more support through that forefoot by purely encapsulating that outsole through here, which is what Brooks have done with the Transcend 6. So talking midsole now. So again, we've got a bit of this convex and concave setup, which has been rolled out in the Glycerin 16 this year. So concave in the sense that we've got some dimples in this lateral side through here, so the contact zone, so whether it be heel striking or midfoot striking. So concave will bring a little bit closer, you might be able to see those dimples. And then as you swing it around to the medial side, they've gone for that sort of convex, or so it almost looks like there's a 3D sort of dimple sitting off of the shoe itself. Now what that essentially does is the medial EVA won't compress as much as the lateral EVA. So the lateral EVA with those convex shapes will compress at a higher density, and using Super DNA cushioning, which is nice and soft but also responsive. So they've got a great little theme set up through here, which is going to provide cushioning but support as well on that medial side without overdoing it. And then obviously we introduced that layered guide rail, so nice and supportive on the medial side, and also on the lateral part of that heel as well, where your foot can come down. And because they've got that dimpling or compression rate on that cushioning system, you don't want it to be too soft, and that's where the guide rail just keeps that heel in a good position so it doesn't over collapse on that contact zone as your foot comes down. Now let's talk about the upper. So I have in previous videos, and no surprises here, I am a big fan of what they do around the heel. Brooks, in my opinion, are very, very comfortable. Nice soft collar through here, not too padded, you don't feel like you're being suffocated or the heel's being suffocated, it's just enough. and really good materials and a clean finish at the back. An internal heel counter, so you've got nice and stable fit around the back of that heel and calcaneus. So vitally important, we don't want to get too much calcaneal movement when our foot comes down, no matter whether it's heel striking or midfoot striking, because that in itself is a really critical sort of factor in keeping the foot nice and posted. So we want to keep that nice and stable inside the shoe. So providing a nice external or internal heel counter, which is what they've done, keeps your foot nice and stable. As you come through to the sort of mid-stance region through here, they've got a couple of overlays which, in conjunction with the sort of really strong fitted upper through the forefoot, provides a nice stable fit through here. Again, I can only sort of measure the success of this shoe in comparison to the previous models. Transcend 5, Transcend 4 weren't too bad. However, I just found this to be a little bit more generous in terms of the height and pitch through that arch region, which is kind of nice for me personally. And I do like the fit and construction around this forefoot. So I took this, taking these for a couple of runs. I went for a nice, long, slow 10k run where I was sort of going at about 5-minute k pace, nice and steady. Then went for a 5k run where I decided to pick it up a little bit and was sort of hitting sort of 4:15s. Now, you're at home probably thinking, that's not very fast, but for me, that is kind of flying. 4 minutes 15 kilometres, minutes per kilometre, pardon me, is me really ramping up the speed. And I did like it in both environments. So it feels nice and stable, nice and cushioned and plush in that longer run. However, when I decided to pick up the pace, it still felt good on the foot. Now, this wouldn't be a shoe that I'd be buying if I was going to be using a tempo shoe by any means, but however, I do like brands and where they're going with providing plenty of versatility in their running shoes. So again, the Brooks Transcend 6, a little bit like the Kayano 25, is a nice versatile shoe. It's very soft and very comfortable for longer runs, but however, both have a nice responsive feel when you do want to pick up the pace as well. So there you have it, guys. That's my overview of the Brooks Transcend 6. Hopefully it's given you enough information at home to maybe throw it into your running kit. If not, or you've got any further questions, please just drop a comment in this video below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe to our channel, Sportitude. We love giving as much back to the runners as we possibly can on running shoe selection. Until next time, happy running. See you soon.